message. Well, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, happy Valentine's Day. I can't think of a better way to spend 1 hour of my Valentine's Day than with my Simplify Your Social Media meetup group, which has gone on for several years, and Lori Dubois, one of the, I'll call her anchor members of it. Today, I'm going to share with you how to have a love affair with LinkedIn. Now, how many of you whose videos I can see, or just maybe put up a little hand signal or something, really look forward to going into your LinkedIn on your phone app or on the computer to see what's up with all your LinkedIn friends? Anybody else excited like me? Maybe not. Okay, we got 1, 2, a few people. Well, I'm here, sort of like a preacher side of me, to help the next time I'd ask that question, more hands would go up. Because yes, you can have a love affair with LinkedIn. And by that, I mean, you can enjoy it so much that you can hardly wait to go back to it every day, more than once a day, or at least a couple times a week. So what I'm looking for, just bear with me for a minute, because I have some sharing issues here. I don't know why. Okay, so there's that sort of tech issue. And there, I should be able to pull it up. Aha. We'll spend most of the time on the LinkedIn profile, but we will dip into connecting with other people, posting, and also engaging. But when I'm also going to make this sort of like I'm on a dating app and use that analogy because I thought it'd be kind of fun. Again, it's Valentine's Day. So the first thing you would do when you're on a dating app, I don't know, I'm guessing because I've not been on one, like let's pretend I'm going on Silver Singles because I'm, old enough for something like that probably. So I think about my picture. And again, I've already talked to, I'm going to have a new picture. So that picture should look like me, how I'd show up, at our first date at Panera, better look like me, right? And then the next thing you think about is this background. Well, for business, of course, we're going to think more branding, but maybe I don't like the long walks on the beach. I'd rather be out in the mountains hiking. So I could have a mountain picture here. Now, when we look at the next part here, is called the headline. That's kind of like the bio, right, of the dating app. Again, as I'm kind of picturing it with Match.com, whatever you're on. So you want to say a little bit about yourself to see if you're attractive to the kind of person you're looking for. And notice here, there's quite a few characters. You have up to 220 characters, folks. That's a lot when you think about it. Tell us who you serve, what you do. If you got something cool about yourself, my very own LinkedIn tutor told me to do this because you see at 302 recommendations, I have far more recommendations than anyone else that I know of that I've looked at their profiles as on their LinkedIn profile. So that's an accolade for me. And how you add to that is over here in your pencil. You click on the pencil, then you go down. And by the way, this little vertical separator, you push your shift key and then your backward slash. Yes, there is such a thing. One other thing I should mention while I'm in this pop-up here, make sure your education is showing if you've gone somewhere after high school, somewhere to school. And also, let's take Ari's from Broomfield. So rather than put Broomfield, what I do, Ari, I would make sure it says Denver metro area, because I think our Broomfield is more considered part of Denver metro area than, say, probably Boulder, though I know you're close to Boulder. So that's an example that you would put in here. Now, contact info. Here I'll use maybe like, oh, do you want my number? Oh, maybe I'll give you my number. But I'm not going to give you my personal cell number. Oh, no. I would give you my Google Voice number. That's if you're going to put a number up that all of your LinkedIn connections can see, you don't want to put your personal cell. Well, unless it's all over your business cards and you're a real estate person, just always do that. I recommend the Google Voice. Furthermore, your email. A lot of people have never changed their email on LinkedIn. It could be some Yahoo account that you hardly ever use anymore. Well, no, let's not have Yahoo, MSN. It's okay, I guess, if that's your home. I'd rather see your business email in this space here. Now, you can also brand yourself up here in your profile, which is pretty cool. Let me show you how that works. Your profile URL, I should say. So that's what's at the top of my page, not some random letters and numbers, which you might notice you have. So you go over here and you can change it. 100 characters, that's quite a few. It used to be 30. So that's how you can make sure that you have something more specific to what you do. And again, if you do several things, you have to pick one. Now, one more thing while we're in this screen, go down here. If I was on some dating app, I would want to have anybody who matched with me to be able to find me, right? Well, here on LinkedIn, sometimes people have this circle or this circle checked. No, you should have public. Like my daughter, Jane, age 38 and a half, in the nonprofit world, she looks people up on LinkedIn. Does she have an account? No, she doesn't really see a need for it. That's fine. Whatever she thinks is best for her. Make sure also that all your sections are green like that. So they all should be populated. Otherwise, people won't see that. And sometimes that is left that way kind of by mistake. It's weird. And then one other thing I want to make sure to show you is I'm going to go back into this again and watch it from the outside. So notice here I have 3 different websites. You can have up to 3. So like Mr. Mark there with your different income streams, you could see 3 different websites, right? Or this meetup group. So I want people to know about it. I have this meetup as one of my 3, or my Facebook business page. So, and what's seen by the public, they will see your profile and they will see any website you list. They will not see your email. They will not see your phone number. They have to be connected to you to see those. And even those you could actually, I believe, in the settings, not make available. Well, we've covered the top part of it. I'm not going to cover every section because of time, but I want to cover the basics. Well, going down is the about section. I think of this like the first date or the second date. When I'm telling you I'm from a farm in Wisconsin, and then I went to Wisconsin University, met my husband there. Sadly, he's passed away. I'm just going a scenario here. Why else would I be dating if I had a husband, So then I would talk about myself. So here I have, it's a story, right? It's a narrative. Don't go all resume voice on me here. No, don't go all PR and use a third person voice unless you're some hotshot attorney or something. Maybe you have to talk about yourself that way. But no, most of us here are just regular old folks, put pants on one leg at a time. So we're going to use our first person voice and tell. Now, when you have more than one entity, you could probably weave those in a bit, but I would lead with the one most important to you for sort of a LinkedIn audience. So we could talk about that offline sometime. And then, oh my gosh, Jennifer Parker, you're famous, as I like to joke, because here you are as my one and only testimonial. I used to have 2, but I got a chapter in a book. Oh my God, I can hardly stand it. And so I do reference that here. So here's, she wrote ones like twice as long as this, but I pulled out my favorite parts. So do think about who loves you like Jennifer loves me and show your people some love. It's Valentine's, right? Who could you write a testimonial for, or better yet, a LinkedIn recommendation? We'll get to that shortly. You can ask for testimonials from people, even if they're not connected to you on LinkedIn. Maybe have those on your website or in handwritten notes or in an email folder somewhere. Just ask them if you could put it publicly up on LinkedIn here in the About section, which is 2,600 characters. You don't have to use every character. I do because I want to. We'll skip this featured for now. Now we're going down to experience. So this is like, say this person I'm dating wants to know, can I really hold a job? And are things, am I a responsible person? That's the kind of thing that I want to know. Is this, I hope the recording is still going on this, isn't it? I'll just have to record it separately otherwise, but I did push that. I just want to make sure. So at any rate, here's my company. And by the way, if you have different things under your same company listing, you could have, I put them as separate jobs. See, this is LinkedIn training, but this is more my social media consulting and one-on-one work, which is really where most of my income comes from. So let's look at this one, for example. So I talk about this personalized work I do with people, how it flows. You don't have to go into that much detail. But then I have more testimonials. That's the other cool thing. When you break these out into different sections, different offerings have a different position, you have 2,000 characters in each one of these. You could even put in little still photographs or videos or PowerPoint. So once we get through all this stuff, including this very own meetup here, then we get down to some volunteer work. And here's a she group I'm in with Suzanne and Lori. I think you're just the 2 of you, right, that are from the group here today. So I'm the secretary. So I list that in my experience section because you see, I want to make sure that people could say, recommend me for my leadership within the group. And it gives more visibility to the Supporting Hearts and Enterprise is what she stands for. Gives more visibility to the She Leads group by putting it up here in experience. I also teach classes, Colorado Free University. I'm on a board. If you're on a board of a business organization, or even maybe of your church, your faith community, or your Toastmasters Club, or your Rotary Club, you could put that in here, because I think that's legitimately appropriate for experience. So it doesn't have to be a paid endeavor. Or you went through a leadership program like I did through my Chamber of Commerce here. And I live in Lakewood. I didn't mention that, a suburb of Denver. I live in Jefferson County. And then we'll skip down certifications. I don't know from a dating standpoint, they really care. But volunteering, very important to me. My beloved husband, 51 years, April Fool's Day. I hope I held him as a husband for many, many more years. And what does he do as a 74-year-old also? He's retired because he had a very rewarding career. I didn't find my calling in life to 61, so I am not retiring anytime soon. But I do want to see if someone has a heart. So if I was dating somebody and they were 74 or 80 or whatever they'd be by then, and they weren't volunteering, I say, what's with you? You don't volunteer and you're retired. Well, what the hell do you do with your time? I say quite like that. But I want to know this person gives back to the community. So volunteering can be things not directly business like this is. Toastmasters kind of an in-between. I think it was sort of business-like, but it's still the community, like Rotary or something. So I've done a lot with it, member for a long time. And then going down, skills. Skills are important. And if we go kind of a more of a business side look at this, I want you to know that skills can be moved around. Did you know the default? It'd be most endorsed, second most endorsed, third most endorsed. Well, watch this. So cool. You can go into here, this little pencil, and then here, the 3 dots, and reorder. So if I wanted to put, let's say, LinkedIn marketing more than social media, because I'm all about LinkedIn, about 95% of my work is LinkedIn. I see, I would just move that. It's so slick, really slick. And then if you want to get rid of skills, you can just go and dump them. Now, this is something really important. Just came out last year. Let's say I add a skill. What could I add? They're going to give me ideas. Because I kind of do a little of that. We'll just say for fun. So we'll see, I do that more in the context of this work. I'll say just see how I can check any of these for career counseling. And then I go here, watch carefully. Now, when I go back up to, it puts it up at the top. Whoops, no, we don't want that. We got to move career counseling down somewhere. We don't need it in the top. So be careful when you add a skill, because most of the time when that's done, it's going to throw it up at the top. And maybe you want to add it, but it's not like your top 3. So now see here, where did I put that? There it is. See that career counseling? This, you may not have noticed, has come about, like I say, in about the last year. So you can put these skills in here, which is cool because they really jump out at you, right? So let's say I've decided career counseling, it doesn't really relate that much. I better get rid of it. Well, maybe not completely. What I'm going to do is I go down to it here. Oopsie, where did I put it? This one. Okay, the second one. I'll go into edit mode just for this position. I'll go down and I'll find it and I'll say, oh no, I don't really want career counseling. Let's see if the rest of them still work. I guess the rest are okay. So you can actually edit, you can add, and you can subtract from this part of it as well. Also in the last year, it's sort of pesky, but you got to live with it. Whenever you go into a section, then you have to find your way out with that arrow. All right. Now moving down, what have we covered? Covered volunteering, we've covered skills. Recommendations. Now, recommendations is another way to be showing love. Like I would say, Jennifer did that for me. That quote from her up in my about that came directly from a recommendation she wrote for me. Now, my She Leads friends will know Mary Weiss, who I adore, and she adores me. So she wrote this really wonderful recommendation for me. In fact, it was so good, I'm now featuring some of my favorite recommendations in a PowerPoint document. I don't have it up right now, but I do that on occasion. But one thing I want to stress, since we're in this day of love, is to think, who have you recommended lately? You know, it's really, LinkedIn isn't so much about you. It is in a way with your profile, but it's more about how are you providing value? How are you being of service to other people? How are you giving accolades to those in your world? I was at a conference just last week for women over 50. It was an amazing conference. The least I can do for these 2 ladies who just did a fabulous job, is write them a LinkedIn recommendation. They were so tickled. And how long did that take me? Like 5 minutes, not even that. So that's important. Here's my beloved Debbie, who Suzanne and Lori know, designed this incredible logo for me. Just wonderful. So that there's more. I think I didn't write just one sentence, but maybe I did two. So I always like to have at least as many given recommendations as I have received. And right now they're tied at 302. So I was behind a bit. Now I've caught up with those last 3 recommendations. So let's see. Oh, now here's where we can talk about kind of our extracurricular or different kinds of things we've done. You know, when I graduated high school, I was with an annoying girl that had all those things under her picture, you know, band and glee club and drama and whatever. Because, you know, I once gave a talk in Toastmasters, extracurriculars are my life. Because for the longest time, as I said, I didn't really have a calling. I was always doing things like Toastmasters. That was really what gave me joy. Now, notice here, folks, this is a lot of people don't know about it. When you want to add a section, you can't figure how in the heck you do that. You go to add profile section. Now here is, look at all this. See, here's volunteering, publications, projects, honors and awards, languages, organizations. So if any of you gentlemen here, maybe you were an Eagle Scout like my husband, you can see there's no one that's ever going to quite match up with him. So that's why I don't think I'll be dating if he was gone. But seriously, your award could go back to from college years, high school, whatever. If it's important to you and is part of who the person you are today, add that. That's where you go to find it. It's just little templates appear then. So as we move down, now we see where those show up. See, here's the publications. Well, actually, and here's courses too. They come from the recommendations part, another section. So I wrote this ebook. So it's a publication. It's not hard copy, but it is a publication. Here's the book that I was talking about a few minutes ago, Owning Your Feminine Power. Wrote the chapter, 3 of the gutsiest things I've done. I highly recommend this book. Of course, you know, I'm biased because I've read the other stories too, and they're really good. So this way, what's cool about it, see, we go here, and now that's where people can go and order it. See, it's still $1.99. Get it before it goes up. That's the end of my paid commercial here. Okay, or the hard copy. I even have a few here at the house. So going back down, projects. If you're in a service club, maybe through your faith community, or who knows, your neighborhood. I bet Suzanne, you do this with your people all the time. Help them with fundraisers and such. Maybe you donated some of your promo products, or you were part of a fundraising planning effort. That would be a perfect thing to put under projects, because you know what you can do with these. You can, like, I call it name drop. So see these 2 dudes here, these gentlemen wrote this book, No Limit Over 50. I highly recommend that book. And they get this because they didn't know really dilly squat about LinkedIn. They asked me to write part of a chapter. So I'm not going to really count that as a publication because that feels like that'd be a stretch. But I donated my time. They didn't pay me for this. Nope. They just asked me and I did it out of, you know, labor of love. So then when I went in to do it, then I can, let me show you how this looks. See, this is where you go in and you add a creator. So Suzanne, if you worked with, say, somebody like the head of the PTA up there in Brighton where you are, and you were on LinkedIn with her, and that person was maybe also the president of the bank or something, you know, because she rocks. So that would be a good way for you to show your association with that person, you know, because we are who we are associated with, right? So that's no, I got to get out of this section. And again, hold your questions. We're almost done. We're almost done with the profile. We have a couple more things to go. Honors and awards, I already referenced that. Languages, especially if you speak, say, like in Colorado, if you speak Spanish, that would be a really good thing to reference, definitely. And then organizations. Here's She Leads, my Coast to Coast chapter. I should really put more verbiage here. That's one thing that needs a little dusting off or expanding on. Preferred Business Network, Colorado Springs, there are people here from that group today. Rhino, that's where I met Thomas Nash. So it's a way to show, again, back to the dating analogy in a way, that I have community involvement. You know, I'm maybe not a leader of all these different groups, but I'm a member. I care about them. I invite other people to them. So again, the extrovert in me would really want to see if I was really dating somebody that was not a couch potato, but got out and about and did things for his community. So at this point, I am moving over toward connecting with other people. So do put questions also in the chat, but I want you to share them with me out loud when we're done. We're close. I think our time is still good. So my network. Oh, Kathy, I was going to send you an invite. Oh, you beat me to it. There she is. Like what? I mean, this is a poster child, right? Just look at what Kathy's done. Enjoyed your LinkedIn presentation today. Look beautiful. Forward to
You weren't supposed to look at it yet, Joyce.
Oh, too bad. I'm sorry, but we won't. Don't worry. I won't look at your profile. See, otherwise, I'd have been looking at your profile, and then that might be awkward, right? But no. So we're going to have you here. We're going to say, "Oh, Kathy, yes, delighted to connect with you." I'd probably write longer, no, but I'll do something here so people can see the functionality. Delighted to connect with you. Glad you came, etc. We'll just be short. So not accepted her. Now let's look at some of these other people and see if I want them in my inner LinkedIn circle. Or my LinkedIn circle, period. I should say inner. So we're accepting. I usually write the note and then accept the person. Now, I'm a friend of Jane Powers, which means one would probably would you like to connect and share more about yourself and what you do? Well, RJ, have you even read my LinkedIn profile? I don't know. See, this is the kind of person who knows Jack Ran. If RJ knows Jack Ran, okay, then that scores a lot of points with me. So what I'm going to do with this person, though, because that's not quite enough, watch this cool deal. I'm going to look at all of these people from this inner, oh no, it's not working. So pesky. Oh, maybe I can do it now. Okay. It's messaging. Okay. So I'm going to, but also let's say it was Alex. I wanted to write him. I could pull this message thing up and write him a note, just like I wrote back to Kathy, right? But here I can, what I would do with RJ, watch carefully, is thanks for the friendly note. Your invite. Was there any other? I would say, usually I say what prompted you to reach out to me. The person's already said that. You know, I'd like to know, how about this? I would like to know more about what prompted you to reach out to me. Get it out, Joyce. Did you get a chance, like you act like you've never met me, to look, this is the first person I've ever asked this, to look at my profile. There's something about this person just not ringing right with me. Sounds like person says that to other people. It's like a program thing. Now, one thing to think about here, Julie wants me to subscribe to referral partner. You'll see these here. You'll see newsletter subscription requests, which you follow my page. I follow pages. That's like not a big thing, but I get enough newsletters. Thank you, Julie. She's great, but I don't want her newsletter. So I don't need that. I will just look briefly at these other guys. Director of Business Development, Scotch Plains, New Jersey. I'm going to reflect. I don't want to make, a rash decision about these other people. But I just wanted to show you, especially that thing where you can write back to them and hold off whether you want to accept them or not. And by the way, did you know you can go into your connections and you can actually search with filters? You could find who recently moved, a lady from Portland to Santa Fe. You could find out your people from Santa Fe that are now in your world. You want to get more. I'm just a quick little thing to show you, kind of off the mark a little bit. But now I want to go back to, let's see, I want to go to home because I want to create a simple post and say, so excited. How about this? So excited. To be sharing LinkedIn tips today at my Simplify Your Social Media Meetup group. I'm on that, I guess. It's especially sweet to have, watch this, Lori Dubois, not the other Lori here, because she's not here. And I'll say Suzanne Mitchell here today, as I've known them both, as they are long time, it's like they are long time business colleagues and friends. Now that's a nice way to show them love, right? So I am tagging them and mentioning is the official LinkedIn term. Lori Dubois, I think I've heard Suzanne, isn't she that promo products lady? So I'm actually doing them a favor by calling them out, and they're doing me a favor just by being here. So I'll do a LinkedIn profile, whatever. So I'm throwing in a couple of hashtags. It's a simple post. I would normally have an image with it, but I just wanted you to show easy posting can be and the importance of bringing other people into your post. People are always asking me, Joyce, how do we get more people to see me on LinkedIn? And I say, post there, put other people into your post, reference them. The other thing that you can do is go to, now maybe there he is, I see it now, Patrick Baker. I know Lori knows him well, and others here may know him too. He's a dear friend. So the other day, I just happened to notice, just in my newsfeed, it just came up that he was put up a post about my friend Jan Peterson, who I've probably known about as long as I've had my business, close to 10 years. And it was such a lovely tribute to Jan, who I think so highly of. She's been my client on several occasions. I recently helped her with a post to launch her business. So I'm going down, I'm reading it, and see, I put this post in. So this is engagement. I know this is 101 stuff, but this is where I'm showing the love here to really both Jan and Patrick. I'm basically piggybacking on Patrick's accolades, saying, yes, Jan is awesome. And Patrick, she is an amazing connector. So see, I'm just doing that again. I could have also tagged Jan's business page too, is now that I think about her company page. So those are all things that I think are great ways to show the love to people that you are connected to on LinkedIn, or, even if they're not connected, you can tag them unless they've changed that in their settings. You could reshare a post of theirs. There's so much you can do on LinkedIn. And I hope just in these 20 minutes or so, you've already gotten some ideas of that you might want to have more of a love affair than you have so far. So at this point, I'm going to open it up for questions and comments. And let's see if I can, it's hard to read the chat from here. Should I list charities I've donated to? No, I would not. You know what I would do, Laura, with that? I would, in the interest section at the very bottom, I'll go back and show you mine in a minute. I would put in whatever category. So if I give to the American Red Cross, that would be under, say, disaster relief. So that's where I would list that. Oh, the backwards slash. Oh, interesting. Okay. I've also heard it referred to as the pipe key. Okay. Yeah, at this point, a bill's been introduced into Colorado. Oh, yes. This is so interesting, Carol, about people not, I don't know if you want to elaborate, but so folks should not have to list when they graduated high school, because that is a big tip off, obviously, on age. Yeah, we should all support that. Let's see, is there anything? Okay, that's all the beginning part. So are there other questions or comments from folks? I want to keep the LinkedIn up in case I need to go somewhere on it.
I have a question, Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
If for someone who doesn't have a lot of time, could you kind of prioritize what you think like are the top 3 places where you should spend your time?
Right. I would say on a weekly basis, maybe twice a week, you for sure want to go into your, into my network. So you don't want to miss maybe a client of yours, or if you're looking for a job, a hiring authority, a recruiter, there and here, you don't want to be ignoring them for days at a time. That would be number one. I would also go into messaging, because there would be people there that have messaged. Some people will use LinkedIn over emails even, which I find quite interesting. So you want to definitely check your messages. I would also check your notifications. And if there's people here that want some help with that, that's part of what I include in my package for my LinkedIn training. So you want, like here, Suzanne, this wonderful mentioning, I'm going to go and acknowledge that, especially if you've recently put up a post, or like in Tish's case, she has this cute, I got to show you guys the cutest picture. Me and Tish is amazing. She says that I'm one of the older folks she knows who kicks ass and takes names. I don't know if I would describe myself quite like that, but that's Tish, the way she talks. And it's taken a few years ago because my hair wasn't completely white then, right? But anyway, you want to definitely track. So to answer your question, Lori, I would say these 3 things are the most important places to check every single time you go into LinkedIn.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. And then if you can put a post up once a week, or also look over, maybe have a list of 5 people so you don't get overwhelmed, that you can count on, that's probably going to have some kind of a post that you could go like I did with Patrick and go looking for what they've been up to, and then, repost it or comment. That would be kind of like extra credit for that. Good question. Really good. Any other suggestions or questions? Have here. Just stop.
Hey, Joyce Feustel, it seems like some of the things that you do for the profile break the rules that I used to be drilled into me when I was looking for jobs. Like your background stuff is really long and detailed, and other those things. It sounds like it's really a different.
Well, job seekers, excuse me, job seekers and marketing people. I'm marketing. This is really like the about section of a website. How little long, might be long. That's because I'm kind of long-winded, and I just decided I'm going to keep it long. And you're older, you got more to say. But yeah, a job seeker probably would not be this long. It'd be maybe half this long. So I do see your point. That it's also one thing too, like this down in here, I don't think a job seeker would have these sections as long as mine. They would be more like just like this much, maybe just like 5 bullets, and this is what I did.
Yeah.
So I think there's a big difference between a job seeker's LinkedIn profile and a business person's. I'm glad you brought that up.
So it really, you're just trying to allow people to drill more and more down into the detail if they want to.
If they want to. I say people just skim the stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes people will say, well, I already said that up and about. Why should I say it again down in experience? People they'll just skip around. They are not going to read this word for word. Yeah. Marla, did you have a question or comment? I'm sorry, Hal, did you have anything else to add?
Oh, I just wondered if the same theory applies to listing jobs. I kind of stopped listing jobs like earlier than the 80s.
I would, yeah, those of us in the 60s or 70s, I would say go back 10 to 15 years, maybe 20 if you want. What would that be? That would take us back to 03. Can you believe that was only 20 years ago? So I would say anything before the 2000s, probably not, unless you were like president of a company, big time hotshot or something. That relates to what you're doing now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Marla, why don't you go next?
Yeah, quick question. Is it true that if you do a LinkedIn Live, it gets shown to a lot more people than if you do a recorded video and post that?
I don't know necessarily. That's a really good question. I do not know the answer. And what she's talking about is something that not everybody can do unless they've gone with creator mode. LinkedIn Live is something you have to have creator mode enabled. You have to connect with a StreamYard or some other streaming service. It's more sophisticated, is what I would call it. And maybe what I think it might go more to the target market, possibly. So there are probably other people that could answer that question better than me. But I think to be honest, for most of people who come to this meetup, that whole process of doing that could be really intimidating. So I think it's better if you're just on your phone and you got yourself a little 2-minute video of you saying tip something, that could get a lot of viewership, just a simple, even homemade type video. I'm actually going to have some professional videos done later this year, probably second quarter, after I pay for my headshot and my branding, but at any rate, my new logo. But I think if you just put them in as like, here's an example of a video that was done professionally a long time ago. So what is this? It's about 2 minutes, 3 minutes long, and it's right there. So that was just, again, I paid somebody to do that with me or for me. But I think LinkedIn Live's okay for you. I think LinkedIn Live would be phenomenal because you could really model things you teach.
Yes.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
don't have. a better
Yeah, I just
answer.
heard that that you need to do it live and not do the pre-recorded videos because it'll be seen a lot more, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, Google that and get back to us. I'll go
Okay.
research that and find out. Maybe time for one more question because we're almost at 2:30. Anybody, any final thoughts or questions?
I have a comment if nobody else has
Yeah.
any questions. When you were talking about how long and how much will people read, there's a reason that LinkedIn gives us more space, right? Like for a while it was 2,000 and now it's 3,000, and you don't have to use all those, but like if I'm writing bios for people, like in their About Us section, I kind of summarize and put the stuff up at the beginning. So if somebody reads the first paragraph or two, they can get what they want to know. And if they want to read more, it's there. If they don't want to read it, no harm, no foul. But it's like, if it's there, all of these social media platforms keep giving us more characters and all these sections, and they're doing that for a reason, I'd say. So
Newspaper,
I'm sorry.
kind of newspaper style,
Yeah,
Mhm.
kind
the
of get
summary and then the
the
details.
Mhm.
above the fold type of thing, to use an old phrase. Exactly. Now, this has been so much fun, and I'm going to actually, where is my recording? Oh, there it is. Stop the recording. Just to wrap it up.